Lauren, that awkward plant girl. Welcome back to my channel. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you guys for popping in. I am participating in like a Secret Santa Thanksgiving event type of deal, and I got my plants. You can watch the unboxing video over here, but I have to ship out my friends, and I'm not going to post this video until after they get it, so you'll end up seeing it in December, even though I'm filming it in November. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, the first thing I always do when I'm getting ready to ship out plants is utilize these plastic cups. They're super cheap and you can get a whole bunch of them for a very little amount of money. You can go to the dollar store or whatever. And then I fill them up with sphagnum moss, slightly damp sphagnum moss, so that way I can keep all the plants in them. And this is how many cups will actually fit in the little box that I have. I'm running out of sphagnum, so I'm going to use this sphagnum over here. And that has a silver sword philodendron in there, and I'm going to gift one of those to a friend, and the other two I put in a terrarium. And I just kind of put all the moss in here so that way we can keep on going. Some of the moss is alive and then some of it isn't, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But two of these I'm going to add perlite to and do a perlite and moss mixture because I'm going to be putting Hoya and Dischidia and more woody, viney type of plants in there. So they do better if they have a mix instead of just sphagnum. Sphagnum is just a little bit too damp and can cause rotting in shipment. So I just want to make sure that there's kind of a 50-50 even mix in there, and that'll prevent rot and help these plants arrive. This is a terrarium. I'm going to take some cuttings out of here for my friend. Got a string of hearts variegated. I've got Hoya curtsii, and then the one physically climbing the glass in there is a Dischidia, a million hearts Dischidia. And then I chopped up all of these. I made sure all the plants were hydrated before I chopped them. This is that Dischidia I was telling you about. And then this is the curtsii. They look very similar. Be careful of the waxy substance, the milky substance coming out there. It is latex based. And then when I'm processing the plants, I just want to make sure that I'm putting the nodes in the sphagnum. This has multiple nodes, lots of aerial roots. This is a Mandula pothos, high variegation. And then I'm trying to tuck all of the sphagnum moss around these nodes, so that way it's kind of like air layering as part of the shipping process. So that way the plant doesn't suffer too much, and it's almost like it's just in a little proc box is the plan. And then hopefully shipping doesn't stress it out too much. Oh, look how pretty it is. I love that one. That's one of my favorites. And this is a cup o' Hoya. So I just took a bunch of different Hoya cuttings. Hoya Bella, Hoya Wayetii. I think there's some Bertone in there. I'm not exactly 100% sure. Just a whole bunch of different stuff. So I got it all in there. I think there's Australis in there as well. I am not sure. Just everything. I just went around the room and chopped up pretty much every Hoya I have. Oh, this is the Hoya Bertone, or what I believe to be a Hoya Bertone. So if it's not, definitely let me know. I just put miscellaneous Hoya when I sent this, I think. And this is the lipstick plant, variegated lipstick plant. It's not growing very much for me, so I took just a little chunk of it instead of a lot. But they grow similar to Hoya and they have a woody stem, so I don't want them to rot, so we're just going to do this whole perlite thing. Hopefully these make it. Then this is a peperomia angulata serendipity or something like that, I believe is the new cultivar of it. But it's pretty cool. It's fun. It's a new plant for me, so I'm going to kind of set that aside. And then I'll make a little cup of peperomia over here. This is so pretty. It does behave a lot like Hoya. So if you're curious about that. And then these are both high humidity loving Caparata peperomias. One's a peperomia frost, the other's a peperomia pink lady. Pretty obvious which is which. So I just made sure that they were tucked in the sphagnum moss. They do not ship well, so we'll see on those. And then let's go in the prop box here and see what we can pull out. I try to always have stuff propagating. A lot of it is terrarium stuff. I've got peperomia in here. This is a global green. I think we'll take this little guy out. And then this is just really cute. I gotta take more global green cuttings because it's just a really fun plant to grow. And then over here is a high variegation marble queen. Snow queen, I think, is another term for it. but they're pretty much the same. I don't know if this one will make it. We'll see. The pepperoni is coming along for the ride. Sorry, buddy. Let's tuck you back in there. Alrighty, let's see what else is in here. All kinds of stuff. This is aluminum plant. I'm just going to give a little one. My friend, I think, was talking about how they have a small terrarium. Not 100% sure. I don't want to send too many terrarium plants because I know that's not their jam. So this is another peperomia, or I'm sorry, not peperomia, pothos of some kind. And then these are australis cuttings because mine was struggling, so I took backup cuttings just in case. And rooted it in perlite. They seem to really love this damp perlite stuff. They root like crazy in it. I think that's it, so we're just going to put this back on, and then let's check another prop box. I've got this one here. This has a lot of different stuff in it. Philodendron camposportuanum, and then this is a Hoya Crinkle 8. I try to only send out Hoyas when they are fully rooted for the most part. I don't really like to send out a lot of Hoyas when they don't have roots. But fresh cuttings is best unless you can have them rooted. This is a little Tradescantia for a terrarium. It's so cute. I love it. Then over here is all Philodendron camposportuanum. Like, everybody's getting one this year. Everybody. If you don't have one, you're getting one. Like, it grows so quickly. Oh, this is a Hoya pupicalix, and it's got new growth coming in on it already too. That's coming with. Hello. So much stuff in here. Oh my goodness. I've really got to pot some of these up. Like, these camposportuanum needed to be potted up 6 months ago. It's terrible. The roots are all interconnected and everything. Oh my gosh, it's like a full plant just chilling in there. But it loved the perlite, guys. It grew so quick in it. The only thing that prevented these plants from growing even more is the fact that this is a little tiny box. Like, this is just a scrapbooking box. It's only like maybe 3 inches high. But yeah, and then this Tradescantia, some random succulents. I don't know if they'll make it. This guy is weird. I found him as a stick. He grew a leaf. He has some roots, but the stick appears to be dying. I think it is a Hoya pupicalix of some kind. I don't know. I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing. It's just so weird. It's got the cutest, tiniest little baby leaf ever. So freaking adorable. I don't even know. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to give these corms. They're random corms. I don't know. I'm tired of staring at them. I think they're Alocasia poly. I'm not 100% sure. And then I did do a philodendron burley marks cutting just because I have so much philodendron burley marks. So we're just kind of back at the little table now. And we're going to just put all of these together. I know it's coming from perlite and I'm giving it to moss, but it'll be fine. We'll make it work. It will be fine. Camposportuanum is very, very resilient plant. I just want to make sure that those roots stay moist. They don't dry out too much. It's amazing though. I freaking love this plant so much. And I'm just going to try to squeeze as much as possible in all of these different little things. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to play some music and then make them all fit and show you at the end. All right, so I got them all in their cups. They're all nice and comfy and cozy. I do have some that I don't want to put in cups or that won't fit in cups because only so many cups will fit in this lovely box that I have to use. I've got Tradescantia over here. My friend is not a very big Tradescantia person, so I don't know if those are going to make it, but if they do, great. If not, well, I've got a bunch. And then this is what I'm doing with the other ones. I'm tucking it inside a plastic Ziploc bag and then so much fluff. I want it to have insulation. I don't want it to rot. This is Hoya Crimson Queen. No, Hoya Crimson Princess. Sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm mixing them up. Because the queen wears the crown and the princess has the dress inside. And that's where the white variegation is, essentially. But, yep, just a lot of fluff. I want to make sure that there is as much fluff and insulation as possible. This is being sent out before there's any kind of snowstorms and whatnot, and it's heading to a southern area. So I'm not too worried about it. I did make sure that there was a little bit of air left in there, but I kind of pushed most of the air out just to kind of flatten it and make sure it's going to be a little bit more sturdy and durable. These corms I totally forgot about, so I'm going to tuck them in in this little cup. And then this is what it all looked like. I made sure to label everything as much as possible. All kinds of different things in here. I'm so excited to be gifting this to my friends. Oh my gosh. So many beautiful things. And then this is how I did it in here. I just tried to tuck all of the fluff in there, and that's going to kind of insulate it. And then I wrote down what is exactly on each one, so that way we know. And you can see it's like string of needles and etc. And then I'm going to tape that down, and then I'm going to make sure that it's all sealed up, and then I will be able to put it in the box. And there we go, we have it. And I'm just going to put it in these plastic Ziploc bags. I realize that it is a lot of plastic, but it's all reusable plastic that you can use, you know, with your own plants and stuff. So it's not going to go to waste, it's not going to be thrown away. And it's all completely reusable, which is great. I just want to make sure that the plants have as much humidity and insulation as possible so that hopefully they ship as well as possible. And then I also wanted to make sure to label these. I'm just kind of taping everything on there, and that way we know when we open it. And if something doesn't make it, then they can tell me, and then I can send a replacement and whatnot. So there's that. And this is kind of how I'm going to do the mandula, because if these leaves get a lot of damage, then it's not going to make it, and it'll have to grow from a node. And pothos, the mandula is one of the slower growing pothos, so it takes a little bit. And plus the variegation may not be as good. So I did try to tuck all of the fluff in there and just make sure that it's nice and good and happy. And I put another cup over it, and I just taped around the middle, and that's how it's going to be a high humidity situation and be stable versus this plastic Ziploc bag. Because if I had used a Ziploc bag, then those leaves would have been crushed and it wouldn't have made it. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. And then I'm just tucking it all in here. And I'm trying to make sure that there is as much insulation as possible, and I'm fitting as many plants in as possible. Oh, that's the Ludicea and the burley marks. I did have to chop down the burley marks a little bit. It just wasn't fitting in here, unfortunately. And this fluff is actually reused from packages that have been sent to me, and now I'm reusing it to send it to a friend. And that's one of the beautiful things about all of this type of packaging. It's all reusable to ship to somebody else. And I know all my stuff is pest-free for the most part, so I don't really have to worry about any of that. And then I quarantine all my plants, and then I keep the fluff separate in case I get shipment materials that have like pests in them. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. I do reuse it, but I try to reuse it smart and safely, if that makes sense. But all this fluff is going to prevent cold damage. It's going to prevent the plants from being shaken around too much. And it's totally worth it. If I had the silver insulation stuff, then I would totally use that. If it was cold in wintertime, or I'm sending it up north or something like that, then I would use that in addition. And I would just make sure to line the box and line the top with it. Alright, so I got everything as good as I want, but I do want to add a little bit of this. This is just going to insulate it a little bit more. Since there's some plants kind of at the top, I just want to really make sure that they're tucked in. This is just me being like super overprotective of my plants, honestly. But, oh, warning in here, nothing but crotons and calathea in this package. Yeah, that's because my friend hates them. I put none of them in there though, I promise. And it's off to the post office. That's it. We're all done. Yay! Alrighty, we got it all packaged up and now I have to head to the post office. I hope you guys have an amazing day and thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!